Hey, I'm Lex.
And I'm Gibby, and welcome to another episode of Porch Swing People.
Each week we bring on a guest to chat with them about whatever they want to talk about. Stories from the past, what's going on in their current life, or their goals and hopes for the future.
Let me tell you about our next guest. Our next guest, her name is Julie, more affectionately known as Chicken. As we grew up, she graduated high school with me, and you are going to fall in love with her. She is a ball of energy.
Yes, I'm so excited. I haven't met her before, but Gibby's been talking about how we need to have Chicken on the pod. Well, should we bring Julie on?
Let's bring Julie on.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Julie.
Hey, how you doing, Julie?
How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Also doing well. So happy to
Good.
see you and meet
good
you.
to see you.
Thanks for joining us this morning, and we really appreciate your time.
Yeah, no worries. Sounds like it's going to be fun.
It is going to be
When is it
awesome.
not fun when you're involved?
Exactly.
Hey, so Julie, I said I would refer to you as Julie. Do you not want me to refer to you back in the day as Chicken?
I mean, that's fine if you want. I mean, obviously it was my nickname. It really, people still actually call me that today.
Yeah.
People who know me from, back in the day. But so a lot of times people will put things out on Facebook and say, "Oh, like happy birthday, Chicken." And like people that I know now are kind of like, "What's with this chicken?"
Who's Chicken?
So do you want to explain what that means? I don't know what it means.
Oh, well, it was a nickname that was given to me back in high school. Well, back probably before high school. My bus driver actually gave me the nickname, which is so funny
I didn't know
because
that.
it kind of transformed. Yeah, back in the day, we kind of rolled a different way than we do now. But yeah, so I never really wore dresses to school, which is so funny because it was dress up day at junior high, and I had on this. The Holly Hobby dresses were like so popular back then. So I had this Holly Hobby dress on. I was so proud of it. It had these little purple lilacs on it. And I was standing at the bus stop in this dress, and that bus driver opened the door and saw me in that dress. He's like, "Oh my God, look at those chicken legs." And so from then on, some people were like, "Oh, chicken." But then it kind of evolved into a different type of thing because I don't know. I just feel like, let's just put it this way, that maybe I was a little braver in some aspects to try things than some people. So it was kind of like, if you were chicken to do something, you didn't really want to do it. But on some levels, I was always like the first one there to try something new.
Also, you're the opposite of a chicken.
Yeah, it was kind of the opposite of a chicken. So it just kind of stuck.
That's
So
fun.
One of the things that I remember, and it's something super fondly. That's why I said, maybe we call you Chicken every now and then. When everybody started coming together, or Julie was showing up, it would be calls of Chicken. I can't do it like it, but it was like that was the big greeting, and then and then the party started.
Oh, is that true?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much. And even to this day, it was so funny because we were at our class reunion last summer. And when I walked into that, wherever that was, we were having that dinner. I was greeted to the same sounds of chicken.
That was the best part of the.
Well, you knew that we were going to have fun if you heard that battle cry.
Yeah, that's what it was. It's a battle cry.
It was a battle cry.
Wow. This is just incredible that it started from a bus driver teasing you.
Yeah, it kind of was.
Yeah. So, Julie, why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Well, I grew up, of course, in a very small town where your dad lived, and I knew your mom from the time I was very young and lived there. And now I actually live in Texas, so I got out of the Midwest, moved to Texas. I've been working here for probably the last 11 years I've lived in Texas, so really like it down here. And I have a son who is just turned, well, I don't even know if I want to say the age, but he's older now. So
Wait, you
I
don't want
guess
to say the
everybody
age?
probably knows our age anyway. They can figure it out. So my son just turned 30. And
Oh, that's young, so young. You're so
yeah, I
young.
know. So anyway, we're all young at heart, that's for sure. But yeah.
You know, there's down in where Julia lives, we got quite a few of our class members that moved down there.
I was going to say that. Is that
Yes,
pretty
we
typical
do.
to find a lot of Midwesterners moving to Texas?
Yes. I mean, I feel like there's quite a few of us down here. And specifically, it's very funny because we have, I think, 5 or 6, maybe 7 people from our class who
Our class.
actually live in the Dallas Fort Worth area. And it is so awesome because a lot of us get together. We'll get together sometimes, like we'll host little parties at our house or meet up and go out to dinner. And it's just really awesome because, you know, some of these people, it's just like with your mom. I mean, I was in grade school with these people. It's almost like our extended family,
Totally.
getting together with our brothers and sisters that we grew up with. And I mean, we went through so many things together just growing up, more so than we probably did with our own brothers and sisters. So, you
I
know,
was
it's
gonna
a really
say,
special bond.
we were definitely extended family. You know, the one thing that was really cool about our class, it wasn't really big. It wasn't maybe 180, 100, I think, somewhere around
Yeah,
there.
something like that. Like, I think around 160, 80. Yeah, you're right.
But our class, we didn't. I don't. Maybe you know every now and then, but there was very little drama with our class. We got together and we just partied. You know? We didn't have drama. Like we just had fun. That was what was. And you know, 84. Well,
And you
that was
guys
a
all
great
still
year.
chat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Julie, let's roll into some of your questions. We are really excited to hear what you have to share with us today. Let's start with you telling us a song or an artist or a genre that you can listen to anytime that instantly lifts your spirits.
Well, most people who know me probably know that I'm pretty much a metalhead at heart. So, yeah, I just, you know, I go back to the day where, you know, Ozzy, I mean, who can get better than Ozzy? Maybe Van Halen and the Scorpions. That's the kind of stuff I really love. I mean, when I hear songs like that, it just gets me pumped and gets me going for the day. Sometimes I'll put that on and on my car going into work and just get myself ready, ready
You're
for the
singing.
day.
You're
Nothing-
singing. Are you singing out loud in your car?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
yeah.
People probably think I'm crazy. If they can, I'll just blast it. You know, I made sure I got the upgraded speakers so I can just really blast that music. I remember back in the day, I worked and made payments on those Pioneer speakers to put in the back of my car, that was so awesome to get those. So
Totally.
love me some metal.
Do you have a particular song that you would choose if you had to pick out one song?
I don't know if I really have a particular song because I just really love all music. In fact, some other music that I like is it kind of takes me back to our days at the swimming pool when we were young. We'd all hang out at the pool in the summers, and you know, I remember the songs like Pablo Cruz and Seals and Croft and all that, like kind of that yacht rock kind of phase. And it's so funny because this summer I actually put together a playlist of some of those kind of songs, and that was kind of my go-to list this summer, just kind of listening to
That's
some of those
lovely.
70 sounds. And so I like that kind of music too. But then I also have a really deep appreciation for classical music as well. So I kind of just like run the gamut, just like my friends. You know, I have people from all walks of life that I
love
love
that.
and hang out.
You know, Lex, something that you probably didn't get to experience back in the hometowns, small town. Julie was talking about, you know, the speakers and loud rock music. We would drag Maine, and I don't know how long Maine was. It wasn't super long. Well, we would drag Maine. There'd be, you know, a half a dozen cars filled with a bunch of us knuckleheads, and we'd be bouncing the speakers. It was a glorious time back then. It was simple.
It was.
Hey, tell us something about a random talent, or you got a hidden talent. What's you got?
All right. Well, you know, we were just talking about music and everything, and I said how I have an appreciation for classical music. A lot of people probably don't know that I'm a classical pianist.
No.
And that, yeah, yeah. So among all the other things in high school, not, doing all the things I did, sports, I was in swimming and Little Feathers, and I played the clarinet in band. And I also played the piano, and I took piano lessons for a lot of years. And so our senior year in high school, I actually went to the high school state piano competition and played. I played a very dramatic piece. It was by a Russian composer, Khachaturian, Toccata, and it was Toccata in E minor, and it was like a 12-page piece, and I practiced that thing measure by measure by measure, and went to that piano competition, and it was just really awesome. But a lot of people don't really know that about me, so I thought
Why
that was kind of a
not?
fun little tidbit.
Why not? What, you didn't tell people that you were going back to this competition back in the day.
Well, I mean, people who like played piano, like there was some people who, there was another girl that we went to high school with that she played piano as well. And we actually took piano from the same instructor, and she went to the competition as well. So we both went to this state
That's
piano
so
competition. And but really, probably people who knew me and had been to my house. We had a piano in our basement where I practiced. And so if you'd ever been to my house, my room was in the basement too. So you probably knew that the piano was there and probably had heard me play one time or another. But it really
Very
wasn't
cool.
something that I was, doing out in public or anything like that.
Yeah. So you still play for fun?
No, not really as much anymore. So I was thinking about that, and I thought, God, if I had to sit down and try to play that piece today, I'd never be able to do it. But maybe a few chords here and there.
Oh yeah, totally.
Hey, other than band and of course the classical music thing, did you do drama in high school as well?
Well, that's so funny because in junior high, I was in this play. Do you remember that teacher we had? They called him MB. He was like a drama coach when junior high. And so I played this old lady in this play. They dressed me up. They put this like makeup on me where it looked like I had all these wrinkles and everything. And it was such a hilarious role. And I really kind of feel like I missed my calling. I probably should have been in comedy. I probably
I
should have
can
been one of
see
these
that.
people that was on Saturday Night Live. I think I'd have been perfect for that. But
That's something
not
I
too
feel
late.
I missed out on as well. All of us, I didn't even know there was such a thing, and I didn't know the drama was going on in the drama club in high school until I think I was a senior. And I think Brett and I were, and the guys were, and Brett was like, "Hey, we should stop and see the play tonight." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" It just wasn't. It wasn't something that was advertised very often or much.
So Julie, I was going to ask if you would mind playing us a piece, but I will not ask since it has been a while since you've played the piano.
Thank you. Thank you.
Julie, can you tell us something important to you that you make sure to carve out time for every week?
Well, one thing that's very important to me is my dad. He lives down here in Texas now, and there was a time where I was estranged from my dad for a number of years, and so we just recently reconnected, and my husband and I helped move him down here to Texas, so he's down here in Texas, close to us, and so I carve time out every week for him. And one thing I really like to do for him is I try to do things that help him out, like make sandwiches for him so he can just go to the refrigerator and grab something so he has something to eat, or get things that he can heat up in the microwave very easily and make some things like that. So that's something really important to me, and I'm just really glad that he's here and I'm able to spend time with him. So
Shout out to Julie's dad.
yeah.
Julie, that makes me feel so happy. And I think that is a really great message to everybody that it's never too late for anything, for any reconnection, to try something new. I think sometimes we feel like we're stuck on a particular path, but we can always readjust.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's hard like that when you are not talking to family. But I mean, I'm just so glad that my dad's here. I lost my mom in 2021. So that was really hard, but I'm really blessed that my dad is here and, that I still have a parent that's alive, and I'm going to do everything I can to, help him while I can.
Yeah. Rest in peace to your mom.
Yes. Your grandparents. What's something, because I'm pretty sure you were tight with your grandparents. What's something your grandparents taught you that has stayed with you throughout all this, your life?
Well, that's kind of funny that you asked that. I have a little story to tell about this first. So my husband and I were at the grocery store, and we were trying to pick out a watermelon. And you know how they have those big bins of watermelon at the grocery store?
Yep.
And so I said, "Oh, we need to get this one right here." And he's like, "Oh, no, 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 that's no good." He's like, "What do you know about a water? What do you know about?" I said, "This one has a great stem on it. It'll be perfect." He's like, "Oh, what do you know about growing watermelon?" And I said, "Well, it's funny that you say that because I actually know a lot about growing watermelons because my grandfather had this huge garden that he kept behind my parents' house when I was growing up. And so I would be down there daily with him in that garden. And, I would help him with, planting the things in straight rows. I would hold the string. I was down there pulling weeds. And then I was always excited because I'm like, I want to grow watermelon. So one year he decided, okay, we're going to grow watermelon. We're going to put them at the back of the garden. But we have to have this, the soil has to be special for, watermelon to grow. They have to have sand. So my dad brought sand in and I helped, mix that sand in and everything. And so we ended up growing watermelon. So I actually do know a little bit about growing watermelon and knowing when it's time to pick those things. And I know when they might be a little bit ripe. So
Slap down.
dang right.
Okay, so what is the tip for watermelons?
Well, you just want to make sure that that stem is not completely green. You want to make sure that one's a little bit brown. You also, so I think that's probably the biggest tip. When you're picking them out of a bin, so
Okay.
you just want to make sure that they are, that the stem is like not super green before you pick it off the vine, and it'll usually end up being really sweet. So,
Which means that it's been ripened more, right?
yep.
I like to
absolutely.
weigh in here.
Okay.
I
What do
actually
you
have
know about watermelons?
I'm going to tell you. I actually have a guide about picking a watermelon out.
Okay.
One from
I'm
the
gonna-
internet?
Yes, well, but then I experimented with it, and I bought because they weren't very expensive. I was like, I'm going to try this out.
This is
So-
the one where like the lines are certain and the
You want
spot
the
on
lines?
it.
Yeah, the spot on it should be yellow.
Yep.
Means it's going to be sweet. The lines should be close together. Means it's going to be sweet, and it shouldn't be elongated. If you can get a more rounded bowling ball. About 3 weeks ago, I was going through Costco, and these two ladies were knocking and thumping and smelling the watermelons. They were like, "I hope this one's good," and they had an elongated white. It was everything wrong, and I was like, Can I show you guys something? And I pulled my phone out and I said, "Here's the guide. You might want to go back and try again." And then I'm paying, and there they are over there with their bowling ball yellow tagged spotted.
A good watermelon. Yay! You saved the day.
Hopefully it didn't turn out horrible. And they're like, "Who was that old guy that told
That
us
old guy. That old guy wanted the good watermelon for himself.
Yeah.
So, Julie, what else did your grandfather have in his garden?
Well, we had green beans, different types of radishes. Have you ever seen those white radish that almost look like a little miniature carrot? So those used to be really
Yeah.
fun to grow. And I mean, we just had everything: green onions, peppers, green peppers. Sometimes we'd put corn in, maybe not every year, sweet corn, because it was just easier to buy it living in Iowa. You know,
Totally.
where the farmers were growing it in abundance. So.
Yeah.
And then we would do canning. So we'd like grow all this stuff. And then so I learned about canning vegetables too. And so one of the big things that we used to do was make pickles. So we would can pickles and green beans, tomatoes, all that kind of stuff. And so that was a really good skill to learn. And it's something that I even use today sometimes. So
It's kind of a lost
That's
art,
awesome.
and I don't think a lot of people do canning any longer.
I don't think they do either. And I mean, there's really some easier ways to do it. Like I try to, if I have extra tomatoes and things around, I can sometimes can those. And you don't, I mean, back in the day, they used to use like a pressure cooker and go through the whole thing and put those jars down inside the pressure cooker. But if you're just doing like tomatoes or salsa or something, if you get that boiling and put it into those jars and then put the lids on, they'll normally seal. So you don't even really have to use a pressure cooker. So it's really a lot easier than you would think to be able to do that.
There was a big assembly line back when in my grandparents' kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
Great grandmother, grandmother, and mother. That's how
Oh,
they
yeah.
did it.
But I bet you can still taste how wonderful those vegetables were in the middle of winter when you
Yeah.
went to the basement and got a jar of those green beans to
Yeah,
eat
exactly.
in the winter.
Julie, do you have any traditions from childhood that you still think about or that you still do?
Well, there was one tradition that we used to do at my dad's mother's, so my grandma on my dad's side. Every year we'd have Christmas Eve at her house, and there was this little meat market in town. I don't know if you remember it, McNally's Meat Market. So we used to go there, or my grandma used to go there, I should say, and buy these homemade hot dogs at this meat market. So that was our tradition on Christmas Eve to have these homemade hot dogs. And then she would make German potato salad, which kind of went really well with those. And but I'll tell you, there was nothing like those hot dogs from McNally's because they were homemade hot dogs. And I don't know all what he did to those things, but they were the absolute best. And it's just something that is very hard to replicate or even find today. And I've tried different meat markets, but nothing compared to those ones from that little meat market that we used to go to there in town.
I'm missing our hometown right now, Julie.
You are?
Yes.
I do too.
Yeah. It's always fun to go visit. I got to go back and visit this summer. I hung out with the crew.
There's nothing like being on the Mississippi.
Yeah. Hey, Julie, share a meaningful connection with nature that you've had with animals. This is probably going to be a big stretch for you in your current occupation.
I've always really had a connection with wildlife and animals because the house that I grew up in, there was all woods behind us. So I was always back in the woods, in the forest back there, where you'd see deer and, catching snakes and finding little baby rabbits that needed rehabbed and things like that.
Yeah.
So I always really, I had a really big connection with wildlife because of my childhood. And then who would have thought in my mid-career that I would leave the Midwest, come to Texas, and now I work for a zoo. I work for a major zoo. So it's just really an incredible place to be. And it's just something that has, I guess it's just really given me a whole new meaning to wildlife conservation by working at this zoo. A lot of people think, zoos are just places to go see animals, but actually they're organizations, the major zoos in the United States, they are working for wildlife. So they're conservation organizations, and that's one of our big missions is to help save wildlife. So it's really been great to be a part of that. And, and my job there has also led me to other jobs to help people too. I also work for an international foundation that helps with elephants. So I like to raise money, which is something that all these foundations need. I mean, that's what they really need is money to help save wildlife. And to support the boots on the ground efforts. So I help them, and we've been trying to save elephants around the world, and we're doing pretty good.
That's wonderful.
That is amazing.
And they're so intelligent.
Can you tell us a little about your job, some of your favorite parts of your job? I don't know, anything specific or general, whatever you want to
Yeah,
say.
absolutely. I mean, I'm the director of volunteer services at the zoo. So we have about 4,000 people that come through our department every year that volunteer at the zoo. We help with like people who want to come out and volunteer day to day. And then we have special event volunteers, things like that. But I really feel like this is the perfect job for me because it's almost like being a social director because you have to make sure that these people are in positions to do things that are kind of a match for their personalities and skills. So that's really been an amazing thing to be a part of. And then also our department, we run the college internship program. So I get to see these kids that are coming in that are wanting to become zoologists or have careers in conservation and watch them grow and help them get to where they want to be.
That's amazing. And I feel like what you described as such a socially oriented position, and you really have to read people and be able to match people well. Absolutely. We have multiple zoos in my area, and I love the volunteers because they are always the day-to-day volunteers, they're so engaging, so knowledgeable, and so happy to take as much time as my little kids want to take talking to them or, feeling the pelts or telling us something new about orangutans.
They go a lot and not
That's
just
great.
Multiple zoos.
We do. Here we have Woodland Park Zoo in Seattle. We have Point
Yep.
Defiance Zoo in Tacoma, and then we also have Northwest Trek, kind of close to Rainier. Have you heard of Northwest Trek?
Oh, absolutely. So you just named off some zoos, and some of my favorite peeps in the zoo industry work in those places. We're all
That's
a
so
part
fun.
of the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, and we have national conferences twice a year. And I was actually on a committee, the volunteer management committee, so I got to meet my counterparts in zoos. And so, yes, I definitely know some of the people that work
cool.
in those places.
Yeah.
So
Those conferences are probably so fun.
oh, they are.
We did at least one Christmas tour through one of the zoos. Was that last year or the year before, Lex?
They have, the lights at the zoo in winter. Do you guys have that at your zoo?
Oh, yes, we're getting ready for Zoo Lights, and that's one of our biggest undertakings in our department is to help find the volunteers for that. And then we also get like school groups that come out and perform, so we're in charge of coordinating the performers to come out for Zoo Lights.
Yeah. Wow, your job is so involved. There's so many things to do.
There is. But, I love it. And, like I said, it's fun. So sometimes, they say do something that you love, and that's what I'm doing. And so it's just really amazing.
That makes me so happy for you.
Julie, tell us about the coolest mode of transportation you've got to experience.
The coolest mode of transportation I've ever got to experience? Well, let's see.
It's kind of random, isn't it?
It is random, but you know what? You know what really comes to mind to me now that I've got you on here and we're kind of thinking about days past? Who didn't think that 1978 Black Thunderbird was not the coolest mode of transportation that ever existed? Are you there?
Yeah.
So, yes, that thing, that was my first car, and it was awesome. It was a tank, and
Yep.
so I didn't really have to worry about, getting hurt or anything in that thing. But there was something about that car. I don't know if you know this or not, but every once in a while, that thing would sprout wings and fly.
I've heard.
There was this certain road, and there was like railroad tracks there, but there was a dip right before the railroad tracks, and if you hit that dip just right at a certain speed, that car would take flight, go up over the railroad tracks, and just right on you'd go, right down the road. You wouldn't even have to bump on the railroad tracks.
Maybe
Oh,
a
my
few
gosh.
sparks when it came down, but it
Well,
was.
There was definitely a few sparks because my dad said the underside of that car looked like polished chrome.
Yeah.
I have the vision of, you remember in Ferris Bueller when they take the car for a joyride and it just
Yeah.
has that slow motion of it up in the air?
Yeah. No, that was.
It
Yeah.
goes back to when you were saying it was good that you guys didn't have social media back in the day.
Oh yeah, that probably wouldn't have been good because that would already got back to my mom in no time. At least at this rate, they had to wait at least till they had to change the oil on the car to know that the oil pan was smashed in or something.
All of us had old
That's
tanks.
amazing.
For the most part,
Oh yeah. But speaking of the Northwest, there's another cool mode of transportation I've been on, and that's one of the seaplanes. So I was out in Seattle and took one of the seaplanes out to the San Juan Islands to Friday Harbor, and I mean there is nothing like that. If you ever get the chance to experience that, I'm telling you, the beauty, what you see when you're up in the air, because you're down low enough that you can just see the beauty of that whole,
The
the
landscape,
islands and the sea and everything. It was just incredible to witness that. And then not only that, once I got off the seaplane in Friday Harbor, then I got on a boat and we went out, and it was a smaller boat. They have some of the bigger boats that go out to these whale watching tours. And this boat that I was on was a little bit smaller, so we could really go into a lot of different places. And, just incredible to go out there and watch those whales and have them just swimming so close to the boats. And
Wow, so lucky.
so that's just something that I always remember. And it was just a wonderful experience.
I love that. Thanks for sharing that. We will have to plan a time to do that, Gibby.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you haven't done it, I'm telling you, you should do it. It's amazing.
Can you tell us about the qualities about yourself that you hope people will remember you by?
Well, I hope that people remember me first and foremost as being a kind and thoughtful person, and maybe also a great mentor. I try to help mentor people as well. So those are the kind of things that drive me, I guess, in my daily work. I really like to see. I like to help people. I see a lot of these students that are coming in, like I said, that want to advance their careers, and I just love being able to help get them to where they want to go. So there's really nothing more gratifying than witnessing that and seeing people be able to reach their goals and be a part of that. So I'm just glad that sometimes I can help open doors for people, and it's really gratifying.
Absolutely. That's so lovely. What a lovely sentiment that you want to be remembered by how you lifted other people up.
Absolutely.
Julie, before we let you go, I would love for you to share, besides obviously the Dallas Zoo, if people were going to come visit Dallas, where would you recommend that they go visit?
Well, everybody always, when they come to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, the Fort Worth Stockyards is always a great place to go check out. That is really an amazing place. And they do have a zoo in Fort Worth as well, it's very nice. Of course, I'm kind of partial to the Dallas Zoo, but we're really lucky that we live in an area where we have, two major zoos here. So that's nice. So yeah, I think the Stockyards is a cool place to visit. We also have a place called Reunion Tower. If you see the Dallas skyline, you probably see that big ball on the top of the building. That's Reunion Tower. So they have a restaurant up there. It's kind of a cool place to go to. It's really iconic Dallas. So
Okay, very cool.
those are probably the places I would recommend.
So you love Texas.
I do. I'm just really thriving here. It's amazing. I love, I guess, living in a major city. I like living in a big city because I can walk out my door and I can get in my car, and within 20 minutes I can just do about anything I want to or get anything I want to. I mean, you have access to a lot of things that you don't have living in a small town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like an airport close by.
Exactly. And that's one reason why I do like DFW, because we have so many, I mean, there is nonstop flights to anywhere in the world, really, from Dallas. So since with it being an American hub like that, it's great because you don't have to usually deal with a lot of transfers and things like that.
For you listeners, the airport comment was the closest airport to our hometown, the big one, would be St. Louis, and that's 3 hours.
Yeah.
And so, if somebody takes you, that's 6 hours of their day at minimum.
Exactly. I mean, we used to make a day of it, and like we would go down, spend the night in a hotel, and then go to the airport. So, yeah, it was a lot different trying to fly someplace where we lived growing up.
Julie, it makes me feel so happy that you are living in a place you love. You have a job that you love where you are helping people find their passions and move forward with their career aspirations. That you still have your connections to your hometown, and even connections to your hometown that are there with you, that kind of keep your small town feel in such a large area where you have access to all these things. And it just sounds like things are going really well for you.
Yes, I'm very blessed.
We really appreciate your time today. We loved hearing what you had to share. I'm so happy to hear about your reconnection with your dad. I loved hearing about the cool modes of transportation, throwing it back to the best times back in the day. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you.
Well, thank you so much, Lex and Gibby, for inviting me, and it's just been a pleasure talking with you this morning.
Yeah, thank you so much for agreeing to be on our pod with us.
We'll talk soon. Bye, Julie.
Okay. All
Bye,
right.
Julie.
Bye.
The chicken that I remember, the battle cry. I wish you could hear that when we were kids, because as soon as you hear it, you're like, okay, party's about to start.
So you had no idea where the chicken nickname came from?
Well, no, I didn't know that was the how that came about. That was what I always knew her.
You didn't know that she played the piano, huh?
No, I did not.
She said she played the clarinet. So did Mom. Did
Yeah.
they play? I guess they played the clarinet together.
Yeah, yes, they did. Cool. And I played the trumpet for a minute. I was actually very good.
Really?
Yeah,
But
I was.
you didn't stay with it.
No.
I love how much Julie's conversation brought us back to the good old days, or her childhood, or the small town feel, while also being about her life now. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, she's really stoked with her current, position in life and being able to influence and help other people. I've had a couple other conversations with her, and so that's when she was like, I wish I not messed around so much and got into it earlier, but things work out. This is how it was supposed to be.
Do you remember our previous guest, Steffi, in the original trial episode we did with her when she told us about perfect timing?
Mm-hmm. I do.
Remember?
Yeah.
And this was back before we were closing our episode with Porch Swing People Out. Remember?
Yeah.
So Steffi, previous guest on our trial episode, was telling us about how the timing may not be what you wanted. Maybe you wanted something to be faster, slower, whatever. But to trust that whatever the forces are out there have aligned it to be perfect timing for whatever reason. Anyway, the reason I brought it up is because, do you remember how we closed that episode?
No. Tell me.
You don't remember? At the same time, I said, perfect timing.
I do.
We tried to do it with perfect timing.
Yeah. Perfect
timing. That was not perfect.
It was close. Not.
Okay, well, that was another episode of Porch Swing People. Join us next time for our very first quarter recap, where Gibby and I do a little analysis of our first 25 episodes. Porch Swing People, out.
Porch Swing People is recorded and produced by Lex and Gibby. Opening music was written and produced by Michael Gibson. Porch Swing People is a podcast featuring everyday people. If interested in being a guest, email us at porchswingpeeps@gmail.com.